Y'all, she's here. Powder Love from Juliette Has a Gun. I want to tell you about this one, some other ones that I've had the opportunity to try, and a few that I have my eye on. Would love to get your thoughts on all of them. And so we're going to start here with this little beauty. Let me come right out of the gate and tell you all that I love it. Right up my alley these days. I'll tell you a little bit about this in a second. I do want to share that for a while I thought it was not going to be available to folks in the US, that it was only going to be sold abroad at a store called Skins, or is it Skims? Or no, because Skims is Kim Kardashian. Skins with an S, I mean an N. I'm not familiar with that store, so I don't know anything about that. But then I got sad and thought, oh, I really would like to try it. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get my hands on it. Well, then I got an alert from the Juliet Has a Gun website itself that this was going to be available. And so I put my name on a little list to get the notification right away because the notes sounded amazing. And as soon as that notification came through, I got right on and ordered a bottle. I was a little conservative and went with the 1.7 ounce. I'm now wishing I had gone ahead and gotten the large one. Doesn't matter. It'll probably be available if and when I ever run out of this bottle, which will probably be in years at the rate that I go through fragrances. But it's beautiful. First of all, this bubblegum pink, powdery pink color is just amazing. Love that. Love everything this color these days. According to the website, the trail of powder love rises into the air, unfolding into cotton candy clouds across a pastel sky. It transforms into delicate orange blossom before resting on a bed of marshmallow. On the skin, the fragrance blends with sugared almond, melting into pure pleasure. A sensual alchemy emerges where powdery musk lingers like the echo of a sweet memory. I mean, who writes these descriptions? The family is powdery gourmand, top notes of marshmallow, cotton candy, heart notes of sugared almond, orange blossom, and base notes of tonka, ambroxan, powdery musk. According to them, the perfume sillage is middle volume but long lasting. That part is right on. This thing held on to me the entire day when I tried it. I knew that it was arriving. I got a notification from the shipping company. Your fragrance is out for delivery. They didn't say fragrance, it just said your package. But your package is out for delivery. And I was like, yes, I can't wait to try it. As soon as it arrived, I made sure I didn't have any fragrance on that day. I had showered, all that. Immediately sprayed on the sample that came, like a sample vial, before I opened the actual perfume. It came with a sample vial, which I thought was super cool. I don't know if I ordered that or if it just came with that. I don't remember. First spray from the sample, sprayed it on, sniffed, and thought, oh my gosh, this is better than I imagined. I'll explain all of that in just a second. And immediately doused myself with the sample. I emptied it. Like I emptied that thing all over myself and fell in love with the scent. Have since sprayed this as well. Just love it. And so let me tell you what this reminds me of. So if you tried Love Omatic from Room 1015 this summer when it was released or recently, it reminds me of a deepened up, more sugary version of that. So I bring that up to say, I'm not getting gourmand from this fragrance. Maybe gourmand facets, but I would not call this a gourmand fragrance. I would call this a clean, musky fragrance with gourmand aspects. So it smells very bubblegummy to me, like the powder from the inside of a bubblegum wrapper, which is a fantastic smell to me. I'm getting clean from here. I'm getting almost like clean laundry vibes. Like if you had such a thing as a fruity dryer sheet, and I know those exist, I don't have those. I just have the regular schmegular old dryer sheets that smell like laundry. But if you had a fruity dryer sheet, it kind of smells like that to me, and it's so fun and playful. I thoroughly enjoyed this fragrance and am happy that I purchased it. Now, it's on back order on the Juliet Has a Gun website, but you can get your name on there for when it's re-released. And if what I'm describing sounds good to you, I think this is like a no-brainer blind buy. I don't say that a lot. So you have to like almost like a bubblegummy type of powdery sugariness. Think fruity dryer sheet, soft musks, very wispy, airy, fun, playful scent. I think this is bright, girly. The bottle color is perfect for this. It's easy, easy peasy, easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl scent. So I doused myself in it, like I said. When my husband and son came home, I was 2 rooms over, and they said, it smells so good in here. because I was cooking too. And I was like, "Oh, does it smell like spaghetti squash?" Is what I was baking in the oven. They're like, "No, no, 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 not that. We're smelling perfume." And it was this. And they came up on me and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, you smell really good." I was shocked that they could smell me a couple of rooms over because I didn't think it was that strong on myself. So, this is just a note to all of you. When we are testing fragrances by ourselves, we often will think, "Oh, I can't smell it anymore." Go out and have someone else sniff and confirm or deny whether that's the case. You need somebody else to weigh in sometimes because it's not unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by you. Dun-dun, dun-dun. I had to, sorry. It's not unusual for me to put on a scent and swear that it's just soft and didn't last long. And next thing I know, hours and hours later, people are smelling it around me and commenting and giving me a compliment on it. So big 2 thumbs up from me for this. Do not go into this. We're not gonna have another Donna Born in Roma rendezvous ivory situation where everybody is expecting this ooey gooey dripping marshmallow delight. No, no. If I didn't know marshmallow was a note, I wouldn't even know to pick that up in here. Like I wouldn't sense that. No. No, 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 no. So please, let's not have that situation again where everybody is pissed off and returning their bottles because it doesn't smell like as described. I also frankly don't get any orange blossom. I can see kind of that cotton candy aspect of it. For me, it's translating as like that bubble gummy powder, sweetness that's just so fun. It reminds me of childhood. I think I've shared this before, but I'll share again. I lived above a candy store in the Bronx on a corner. And we would get coins, like quarters or sometimes just pennies. And we would go down to the candy store and buy all this candy. That was back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, when you could buy a piece of bubble gum for a penny. You could buy 5-cent candy, 10-cent candy, 25-cent. Hey, if you had something that had two quarters on it, that was a big piece of candy. Those were like the candy bars. I digress. Anyway, I could buy a bunch of like bazooka candies, and I forget what they're called, but they almost were shaped like a bonbon, but it was gum. So it was like a little gum, almost like a ball, but it was shaped like a mini barrel, and it had a wrapper and 2 twists. I wish I could tell you what it was called. It immediately took me back to my childhood and opening that gum, coming out of the candy store, and just feeling like I was living my best life because I had a pocket full of 25 candies that I had purchased with a quarter. They were a penny each. This took me back to that. So it does have a candy-esque nature to it. It does have a powdery musk. That was really clear. And it's just overall sweet, light, wispy, playful fun. Don't go into this expecting a pure marshmallow smell. You're going to be disappointed. So there you go. Big thumbs up on this. Huge win. So I finally had the chance to try out some new releases. Perhaps you've already gotten your nose on these and this is old news. So do let me know down below if you've tried these and you like them. I am going to start off with Miu Miu Miutine. Is that how you say that? Mutin, Mutine? Anywho, warm floral gourmand, wild strawberry, rich vanilla, and brown sugar. A bold scent for the unconventional it girl. Love the bottles of Miu Miu. I think they're really creative and a little bit different than, run-of-the-mill bottles on the market. I tried this in store. I dedicated an entire arm to these next few fragrances that I'm gonna tell you about. I didn't have a chance to do like full body wear, but I did give up an entire arm and therefore feel like I had a decent enough experience to share my thoughts with you. I really like this. I thought that it was fresh and light and pretty strawberry scent. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this reminds me of something that I have and that I really, really like, but like a fresher twist on it. And I was looking through the Fragrantica reminds me of section, and it confirmed the image that came to my mind in the store, which is Mon Paris. Now, I happen to have the Intensiment version of Mon Paris, so what I smelled with the Mutine or Muton or however you pronounce that was lighter and brighter. It was almost like a cross between Mon Paris Intensiment and Burberry Her. Burberry Her, the original that's in the clear pink bottle, I cannot wear. There's something a little bit too in the heavy musk direction that is actually aggravating to me, but there are aspects of it that I think are really quite pretty. So it's like this new Mutine takes the best of both of those in this light, feminine, playful. I felt like it was a very playful fragrance. It reminded me of ads of women, like maybe they were makeup ads or fragrance ads, but women living their best life in New York City, just traversing the streets in their heels, walking around, flipping their hair in beautiful blue daylight, blue skies. blue skies and sunshine, daylight is what I meant. That kind of thing, it's a sunny day is where I'm going. And they are like gallivanting through New York with their pretty dresses on, or maybe even like a light suit, and they smell pretty and fresh and enticing. This is lovely. I give this a lot of credit. I feel like the strawberry lasted perhaps like an hour or two-ish, at least on the arm wearing experience. And then it went down into like this floral musk, which was also beautiful. So this is one I think I want at least a travel spray to do a full day wear and see what my full experience is like because, sampling even on a whole arm, even though I sacrificed from my fingertips down to my elbow, is just not enough to really get a sense of what the fragrance is like and how it wears overall and how other people perceive it. So, thumbs up for now. So let's go next to Marc Jacobs Perfect Absolute. I happen to like these quirky bottles. I realize that some people think they're kitschy. The tops of them are super duper cute to me. I do love the bottle color. I also sacrificed the whole arm for this experience just so I could bring you my best thoughts at the time. This is another one I think I want to start off with a travel spray, and I want to share why. Initially, I was convinced I absolutely needed this fragrance. It smelled super juicy to me. In fact, I kept insisting that there was a plum note. That is the note that came to mind, like a juicy dark berry plum that had been lightened up, perhaps with some bubblegummy types of notes. And I didn't know what the notes were. So that's what came to mind. And then I felt like it had maybe amber and a woody base, and it was deep and alluring and very feminine, slightly playful with these fruity notes. And I really liked it. I kept sniffing myself and thinking, ooh, this smells so good. That part of the experience lasted a bit of time. It was probably a good maybe 3 to 4 hours in where that fruity part of it that was alluring, the deep, dark, juicy berry fruitiness or maybe plummy fruitiness, kind of just went into the background as a player. And what came forward was something like a woody musk, which was fine, but I really love the opening of it the most. So I'd like to try a travel spray and see what my experience is with that because I found this to be delightful. I can see why people are loving this. I could see why when people go in store, I saw a reel of another content creator who had gone in store. I'm so sorry, I forget what her name is, but she tried a bunch of fragrances in Ulta, and the one that she left with was this one. And I thought to myself, oh, I could absolutely see why she chose this from among the others. The notes are fig and caramel, jasmine, and amber are the primary players. I would not have known there was fig in this fragrance. I would not have known that there was caramel. Like I said, what came across to me was something in the plummy, dark berry, juicy, almost bubblegummy direction. And I quite liked it. I found it really, really enticing and like a fall version of a playful opening. So, travel spray it is, like a temporary thumbs up, maybe kind of leaning over to the side since I'm not quite sure. I think a lot of you have loved this and some of you just could not get down with this. So, do leave your thoughts down in the comments. I'm super curious to hear what you think. And then I have to tell you about an experience that did not work out for me to the point where I could not wait to scrub this off. So, here I just sacrificed the back of a hand. I didn't put a whole arm on this one, and I definitely didn't put a whole body on it. This is Cherry Stem from Phlur. Let me tell you what I thought I was going to get from this. And I have heard a number of other lovely reviewers here who I adore them. I trust their opinion, and they loved it. And so I thought, oh, I got to get my nose on this one. And unfortunately, I think I just had a very, very different experience. The main accords here are cherry, like a sweet cherry, and citrus, supposedly. That's not what I got at all. I was definitely expecting like a fall or winter version of a cherry, maybe something in the neighborhood of like a French Defense or a Sirène from Fragrance Du Bois. Top notes: black cherry, orange, and brandy. Hey, we're doing good so far. There, I imagined a bright cherry that had a bit of a liquor touch to it. Middle notes: plum, red freesia, jasmine, and sugar. Okay, so we're still in fruity territory. We're introducing some florals, some sugariness, and then in the base, leather, ebony, and caramel. So I'm imagining this fragrance backed by a lot of base and oomph from leather and woods, but topped with this fruity, sweet, delightful fall thing. Oh my God, absolutely not. I hated my entire life while I was sniffing it. And y'all, I'm talking about I sprayed 2 or 3 times on the back of my hand. This thing was atomic to the point where it was overpowering my entire bubble. I did not like this at all. I found it overpowering, bully. It was a bit of a bully of a fragrance. It's a loud talker, the loud drunk talker at the party. Perhaps their armpits are starting to stank a little bit because it's been a long, sweaty night at the party. The AC isn't doing what it's supposed to do to keep up with the crowd. There's a little bit of funk coming off of them, and you're like, it's time for you to go home. I yeah, no, I could not get down with this. It reminded me so much of some fragrance I've tried in the past and also had this immediate averse reaction to and couldn't get away from it fast enough. So my experience with it was that it was heavily woody, like overwhelmingly woody, and it almost had like if caramel could be rotten, imagine like a rotten caramel smell. And I'm not talking about it's so sweet that it gives you a toothache. I'm talking about like it's gone bad. And I've never smelled caramel that's gone bad, but I don't know how else to describe this. That's kind of yeah, something like that was what I got from this whole experience. I don't think I ever got any cherry from the fragrance. Am I crazy? Have you tried this? Have you had a completely different experience? Because I found this to be foul. And I'm rooting for Phlur. I'm really down with the brand these days and enjoying a lot of their fragrances. So I was quite shocked at my experience and to the point where I was nauseated and wanted to wash it off. I'm not often nauseated by fragrances, and I very rarely, if ever, feel the desire to go to the wash sink and actually scrub it off. Like the term scrubber, I actually always kind of like roll my eyes a little bit when people say that something is a scrubber because I'm like, but is it really? This was a scrubber. So I'm going to roll my eyes at myself because I could not get down with this. And I'm like offended because I'm looking at the what it reminds me of section in Fragrantica. People had the nerve to say this reminds me of French defense. No, not at all, not even close. Don't do French defense like that. That's just wrong. So this was unfortunately a fail. Can you tell? This was, yeah, I'm going to pass on cherry stem. No, thank you. So I have on the way to me a travel spray of Chalet by Brown Girl Jane. I really want to try Chalet from Brown Girl Jane. I love the name and I love the note structure here. White chocolate truffle and plum. Ooh, that sounds so delicious. Middle notes of jasmine and champagne. Base notes of vanilla, cocoa, and sandalwood. The description, a warm, spicy gourmand centered on white chocolate truffle and cacao brightened with a champagne facet and plum. A soft touch of jasmine and vanilla rests on smooth sandalwood, creating a creamy, cocoa tinged profile. This sounds like it's going to be delectable. So I am interested to try this. Let me know if you have had a chance to try it. I've only ever looked at these through Sephora, so let me know if you are seeing them in other places. But this sort of like floral gourmand combination is right up my alley these days. I'm loving those fragrances, especially if they're softer, delicate, rounder, gentler. They're really appealing to me, and like I can't get enough of that profile these days. So, very, very interested in that. Then we have our girl Stephanie Ledda here on YouTube is coming out with her next fragrance. I love the way she's done her brand where she has dropped a fragrance or two per year and it's really allowed us to like anticipate the next release. So this is called 8 Cafe Josephine. My understanding is that that is the name of a fairly known cafe somewhere in Paris, France. I'm not sure, I've never been to Paris. The notes here, listen to this. Gourmand lovers rejoice toasted almond, coconut milk, coffee, brown sugar, frothed milk, espresso, vanilla, sandalwood, caramelized amber. She's describing it as the cozy coffee fragrance you can't live without. I'm not even wearing coffee fragrances anymore, except for like the coffee that's in the black opium line. I can deal with that. I have sold off or given away most of my other coffee fragrances. I still have from Teo Cabanel Cafe Cabanel. And that one's like on the brink because I'm like, maybe I need to break up with you too because I'm not down with coffee anymore. You like overdo it on certain notes and then you get tired of them. But it is Stephanie Letta. I am a fan of the brand overall. I have really, really enjoyed all of her releases. Maybe the one I enjoyed the least was whatever the number is, Coco Isla. I ended up selling that one. So it's in a happy new home. Yay. But the rest I have. I have 20 Bourbon Brulee, 18 Vanilla Nera, 22 Oris. And so I'm excited to try this. There's some like brands that whatever they release, you're like, oh, I think I want to check that out. This is one. Love the name. I love the note structure. As long as it's not heavy on the coffee, I think it's something that I probably would enjoy, at least according to the notes. So be on the lookout for that review. I'll be ordering it as soon as it drops. I think it drops September 18th, which may be the day this video posts or a little before or after. Then something out of the ordinary and a newer drop Let me know if you've tried this Lazulio from Dyptique. So, gosh, I wish I could explain to you the significance of the peacock feather to me. Without getting a little hokey on y'all, I'll just say that it came to me in a dream related to my. Oh, let me just tell you the story. Let me just tell y'all. Coming close for a little story time. This is going to get deep. My grandmother, who I adored and grew up with, passed away in 98. And I knew that she had passed away because she came to me in a dream. If you don't believe in this sort of stuff, this is going to sound crazy to you. But I perceived her in my dream, like her energy or whatever, her soul on the other side, to have turned into a star who could still perceive all of us here on earth and could still feel all of our emotions and everything. It was a pretty deep experience. Well, I recently dreamed of her again, and I dreamed that her eyes looked like the eye in the peacock feather. Those were her eyes, and it was such a profound dream to me. You know, those dreams where you think someone comes to you from the other side. I'm like, "This what does this mean?" I don't know yet. We shall see. I might have been thinking about peacocks because we have a peacock painting in our hallway that we adore, and so I stare at that every time I come out of my bedroom. Perhaps it was just on my mind. I don't know. Anyway, all of that to say that the peacock feather has been heavy on my mind. Why am I telling you this? Because Lazulio has a peacock impression on the bottle. So I don't know if this is going to be my kind of fragrance, but the dream about the peacock feather has me drawn to this fragrance. It is inspired by a peacock's enchanting feathers, particularly the blue and emerald green feathers. It's a Quentin Beige creation. The description, tangy rhubarb, which I don't get along with, so I might not like this, blends with balsamic, benzoin, vibrant vetiver, and a touch of rose. I'm willing to try it because of the association with the peacock feather. I don't think this will be a blind buy. I'm trying to see if I can pick up a sample or a decant of this. Would love to know from you if you have tried Lazulio, and if so, what would be your description? The Fragrantica reviews seem to call it green and aromatic. I'm not as drawn to that category of fragrances these days as I was maybe 5 or 10 years ago, but I'm still interested in sampling and trying it just to see what I think of it. So, super curious about Lazulio. I'm also interested in LAILA from Tocca, a brand that doesn't really get a lot of shine in social media. Love their bottles. And I think part of the reason that people may not be as attracted to them is one, they're not like prolific. They're not in every single store. They're a little bit more obscure to find, one. And two, the longevity on these doesn't tend to be the best in general, but the scents are all quite lovely, if not generic in some cases. And I think that maybe is a distraction for people as well. I think they're mostly nice, everything that I've tried. And I absolutely love Florence, which is a floral that has tuberose, gardenia, and I'm forgetting the other white floral, perhaps jasmine or magnolia. Anyway, beautiful floral fragrance. So Layla is considered an oriental vanilla, has top notes of bergamot, green mandarin, and desert rain. I love an interesting I love an interesting fantasy note like that. The middle notes are nectar, jasmine, lily of the valley, and cardamom. And then there's vanilla, white woods, and amber in the base. It's inspired by the Italian expression piacere, oh, which means pleasure. So the ad for this would lead you to believe that this smells desserty like cake, although the reviews say no, it's more like a citrusy white floral. Either way, I'm very interested in trying these. Love these bottles. Seems like a very pleasant scent overall. Kind of want to get my nose on this one. Let me talk about one more that I don't think I'm going to like be interested in a full bottle because I have moved away from coconut heavy fragrances, but that doesn't mean I don't want to try it. Like, give it a sniff, see if it's a nice fragrance and be able to talk with you all about it. This is Free Cocoa by Born to Stand Out. If you've watched my other sampling videos from like, if you've been with me for a few years, I've had some mixed results with Born to Stand Out. Some are offensive to me, and others are actually quite pleasant and easy. So, this highlights creamy coconut and nutty accords, complemented by a blend of vanilla in the base, opens with refreshing pear granita and coconut water, leading into a heart of coconut and macadamia nuts, and has a trio of vanilla notes alongside organox that's supposed to be smooth and comforting in the finish. But it seems like looking at the reviews that the primary accords here are coconut, vanilla, and the nutty accord playing together. And so I'm super curious to know how that turned out in this fragrance. The color of the bottle is fun and intriguing as well. So I would love to know from you all, have you tried Chalet, Free Cocoa, Lazulio, LAILA or Cafe Josephine, if it's available by the time this video posts. I think it will just be being released, Cafe Josephine. So we'll have to discover that one together. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and being willing to listen to me ramble on about my experiences with trying fragrances. Again, if you liked what I described, get on the notification list for Powder Love directly on the Juliette Has a Gun website. Such a fun fragrance. Let me know your thoughts on the others down below, and I'll see you in upcoming videos. Take care.